The Snyder Cut exists as a result of Zack posting scenes and storyboards of moments that would have happened in his film. Posting all these spoilers for his cut fueled the fans to campaign for years to see his visionary take. So naturally, one would think someone within production spoiling their own movie is actually a smart thing to do. Well, no, it really isn't.
Damn, truth serum! You know, I was trying to protect you guys. I swear to God.
Tom Holland and Mark Ruffalo aren't the only spoiler kings out there. From film past to streaming future, we have a whole list of actors who have said a little too much, leading to some life-altering results. Wandavision is the perfect series to entice viewers into its mystery, slowly dropping hints for future payoff. When that cameo happened on a very special episode, fans were shocked at the first step into the multiverse of madness. Well, that is the fans who aren't following Rodri Martin on Twitter. Rodri was the Spanish dubber for Evan Peters, and he got a little too quick to confirm his involvement in the show, announcing that he would be voicing Evan as Quicksilver, which completely spilled one of the series' twists.
She recast Pietro?
That moment was quite ironic, as if you watched the Spanish dub, you may have noticed that Rodri had been recast as well. Turns out those Marvel snipers are real, and their bullets hit just as hard as they did to Quicksilver in Age of Ultron. Tom Holland has gained an infamous reputation for spinning a web of spoilers throughout each of his MCU appearances.
Well, it does have—
Yeah, spoilers!
He always says a little too much, a little too often, but he's trying to turn a new corner. Recently, he has been bold-faced lying about his knowledge about Spider-Man 3. In his initial attempts at remaining quiet, he absolutely fumbled. During an interview for Far From Home, when Tom was asked about any Tobey or Andrew future crossovers, Tom sat like a deer in headlights. His eyebrows were raised with no way of knowing whether or not to deny the question. He just has the biggest smile on his face, and he literally twiddles his thumbs as he relies on Jacob and Zendaya to answer the question. But like, really, who could blame him? The prospect has us all ready to whip our way back into theaters. With the lack of Avengers movies for the foreseeable future, cameos between various properties are expected. That being said, it's still fun to see the comic-like crossovers in the moment, rather than spoiled a few months in advance. Details for Falcon and the Winter Soldier have remained largely under wraps since the series announcement. The announcements about the show's premise and villains have been all the information we have really known about the series, until a certain Avengers actor opened his lips about appearing in the series. Just recently, Don Cheadle confirmed that he would be reprising his role of War Machine out of seemingly nowhere.
Dude. Not everybody. No.
Don, man, you gotta be really careful about giving away cameos like that. We already know that Marvel doesn't mind recasting the role. It's not only Marvel that has a spoiler problem. DC has also had a fair amount of loose-lipped moments in its past. Most recently, during an interview on the Graham Norton Show with Gal Gadot, Graham accidentally confirmed that the Invisible Jet would make an appearance in the film.
But the invisible plane is in it.
You just gave away a major spoiler. That's okay.
While it was Graham that did the spoiling, Gal's attempt at rebuking the spoiler was about as non-existent as the exterior of the jet itself. To add insult to injury, instead of cutting the moment from the interview, they ended up posting the moment itself on YouTube, leading some fans to thinking that the moment may have been done to use spoilers to build up some hype. Speaking of staged spoilers, there is one that ended up working out in everyone's favor. In an attempt for Ryan Reynolds to fix up his double whammy of starring as Green Lantern and playing Baraka in an X-Men movie, Ryan produced an animatic in collaboration with Tim Miller that he shopped to Fox as a way of hopefully producing a faithful adaptation of The Merc with the Mouth. In Fox's infinite wisdom, they declined, having not seen how the script and style could be neutered to hit a PG-13 rating.
You're in a PG-13 version of Deadpool 2, which means we only get one
2 years after Fox declined, the footage mysteriously ended up leaking online, and the fan reaction was absolutely buzzing. Because of the internet's reaction to the leak, the movie was greenlit and the scene itself was replicated almost beat for beat. While this did end up spoiling the highway scene, it also gave existence to the film, so not a bad trade-off. Oh, Mark Ruffalo, one day you will learn to keep your mouth shut. Until then, us fans will appreciate your inability to hide spoilers. Mark gave perhaps the absolute motherload of spoilers at D23 when he revealed that Thanos' snap was successful and half the Marvel Cinematic Universe faded away like dust in the wind.
Wait till you see this next one. Everybody dies.
The spoiling was so big that he somehow managed to outspoil his previous massive slip-up, which was Instagram living the first 10 minutes of Thor Ragnarok during the film's premiere. To hit his third strike, in an interview with Jimmy Fallon, Mark accidentally revealed the title to Avengers Endgame, which he had to have bleeped out. That one doesn't seem like the biggest spoiler out there, but keep in mind, Marvel was trying their absolute hardest to keep the title of Avengers 4 under wraps until the film's teaser. So had NBC not been so kind to bleep it out, Mark would have faced some serious repercussions. Nowadays, with Reddit, Twitter, YouTube, and other various reporting sites, spoilers and leaks are a dime a dozen. Back in the late 80s, in an era pre-internet, film leaks seemed almost impossible. That is, unless the stars themselves didn't give away anything. Hype for Tim Burton's Batman was almost palpable, with very little being teased about the ongoings of the film, aside from a simple teaser and a killer Prince song. That is until Michael Keaton went on David Letterman and spoiled that Jack, or the Joker, murdered Martha and Thomas Wayne.
Kind of blowing the plot here.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, like nobody's gonna go see it now.
Of all the things to spoil, of course Keaton leaked the one moment of the film that was different from the comics. Warner Brothers must be glad that Letterman retired in 2015, as his talk show ended up being a haven for spoilers for Batman flicks. During the hype for the conclusion to the Nolan trilogy, Letterman started prying with Anne Hathaway to see if Batman dies at the end of the film.
And in the end, Batman is dead.
Now, of course, Batman does actually survive his apparent death, but regardless, his death happens. While Tom is yet to seemingly face any repercussions for his spoilers, Asa Butterfield got hit with that infamous Parker luck when he was auditioning for the role. Asa was extremely excited to potentially play the webhead when he was the frontrunner for the role in Civil War, and it voiced his excitement over Reddit and Twitter. Not too long after his multiple posts, Asa went from being frontrunner to out of the race entirely for the likes of Tom, Timothée Chalamet, and Charlie Plummer. The casting was a big deal, and while it doesn't necessarily spoil the film, it would have dampened the buzz around the big reveal had he been cast after repeatedly talking about it online. Logan was marketed as the end of the line for Hugh Jackman and Sir Patrick Stewart after their 17-year tenure as Wolverine and Professor X. It was common knowledge that they would be both retiring their takes on the characters after the movie was released. What wasn't as obvious was exactly how they would step out of the spotlight. Wolverine could have started a circus or even went into politics with how vague the wording of his retirement was. Well, that is vague until Hugh Jackman outright went on to give details about his death in the film with Entertainment Weekly. You know what? Not a bad move by Hugh. You can't lose your job if you've already quit.
Is that my
Bring
juice?
Thomas juice by you. He gets cranky when he doesn't have his sugar.
The banter between the MCU cast is priceless and makes the hundreds of dollars that it costs to attend a Q&A panel at a con entirely worth it. One time when a fan paid for an autograph from Sebastian Stan, they got a lot more than they bargained for, with Sebastian signing a Cap poster with the text, I'm Nomad, with the beard shaded into Evans' face. While the title of Nomad never actually made it into any film, the alter ego to Cap was loosely adapted. The title of Nomad is the persona Cap takes on following a stint of being America's sweetheart when he disenfranchises with the government and fights crime undercover. That sounds a whole lot like Cap's arc from Civil War to Infinity War. It's almost like Sebastian wasn't supposed to give out any details there. Of course, we aren't done with Tom just yet. Tom Holland has become the unofficial poster boy for spoilers in the MCU for good reason.
I don't spoil things. Name me one thing that I've actually spoiled.
His lack of an in-real-life spider sense had led him to reveal that his version of Peter utilizes web shooters designed by Tony Stark, instead of that weird goo that came out of Toby's wrists. He spoiled the scene in Homecoming where Spidey almost drowns, and he started an Infinity War screening, screaming, The Tom problem has gotten so meta that instead of reprimanding Holland for his spoilers, he has been used to accidentally reveal big moments over social media, like the title of Far From Home and the teaser poster for Avengers. We've got to give it to him, Aquaman is pretty good at swimming. Jason Momoa himself, well, he has a problem of drowning in spoilers. While promoting his solo outing, not only did he unveil the final shot of his film,
at the last frame of this movie, you're going to see him actually become what he's destined to be.
He also dropped that the reason why Black Manta was hunting down Aquaman was because Aquaman murdered his father. Anytime Gwyneth Paltrow drops a post that isn't about Goop or her other products, it's appreciated. That is, unless she spoils details about the biggest movie of all time. While we know that Pepper survived the snap and would be appearing in Endgame, when she posted about a relaxing foot massage, she also leaked that she would be donning a mocap suit. With Iron Man 3 setting up that Pepper should have some form of armor to protect herself against the slew of enemies throwing themselves at Tony Stark, and Endgame promising an all-hands-on-deck situation, the mocap suit leak created instant speculation that she would don a variant of the rescue armor to aid in the fight against Thanos. With Black Widow being due for release for over a year now, it's a big surprise that no details have been spoiled for the film. Well, that is with the exception of the identity of Taskmaster. Fans of the comics are well aware that Rick Mason is the one under the skull mask, but the marketing of the film has played that aspect pretty coyly, leading general audiences to be unaware that OT is playing the role of the villain. That is until OT posted a poster of his character on Twitter tagging #TM, completely spoiling away the twist that Marvel has been trying to hide away for years now. During the hype for Justice League, Ben Affleck tweeted out a video of Deathstroke, teasing a battle that never actually made it into the Whedon cut of the film. In an industry where there are such little surprises, maybe we should start having actors give out fake spoilers to really throw a wrench in everyone's theories.